Hello, and welcome to One Cool Thing, PC Mag's daily show on Facebook where we show you one cool thing that we are testing out in the labs. I am Sasha Segan, this is AJ Kumar, and this is the show formerly known as Random Access, which we have changed the name of to reflect the new format, which is that we are showing you every day a cool thing that we are reviewing, or in this case,
20 cool things.
I'm going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cool things for you.
11.
It's 1 and 1. 11 cool things. And so, of course, as usual, we have Social Pete over here on the con, taking your questions, taking your comments. We can turn this into a phone show. We know about phones. We'd love to talk to you about phones, wireless carriers, tablets, any kind of mobile technology. Please ask us, and we will talk to you for as long as you are willing to talk to us. But for now, what is, of these 11 cool things, what is the one cool thing at the heart?
The one cool thing at the heart is the Moto Z2 Force Edition, which is basically it's Motorola's new flagship phone for the year.
That's one thin thing, isn't it?
It is one extremely thin phone. It's actually a little bit hard to hold right now. Like,
it reminds me of when
super thin.
It reminds me of when. Do you remember when Motorola temporarily resurrected the Razr name with Android phones, and they were like super thin?
Yes.
And like I think this is even thinner than that.
It actually is. They shaved it off by I don't want to say half an inch, but it really feels like it from last year's phone. So yeah, basically. That is a sacrifice of battery capacity, so you're looking at 3,500 to 2,700.
Okay.
But you do get a really thin phone, which is important to some people, apparently, because manufacturers keep doing it.
Well, I think in this case it's important because you're not actually supposed to use the phone this thin. Show people what else is going on here and why the thin phone gets thicker.
So basically, all of these are mods. So they attach magnetically to the back of this phone, and so you have your standard, wood back. You just click it on, and so this is basically how you're supposed to use the phone. You're supposed to use it with the mod, and that's whether it's a style back or if it's a battery back, which is I think what Motorola is really imagining people will do, because this adds an extra 3,500, and it's turbo power, and it's connected right now, and it will make your phone last for more than a day.
So now you have a 5,000 plus battery here, basically.
Right. So same as the E4 Plus, essentially.
Right. So does it come with a style mod, by the way?
It did not come with the style mod.
Okay, so it just comes naked.
Yeah, it came like this. If you want to use it like this, you just have a metal body. It's really thin, but it feels a little like incomplete, hard to hold.
Yeah. So so the battery mod, that is definitely something that people will be interested in. I want to talk about the other new mod right now first, which is this thing. What is this? How does it work? What do we think of it?
So this is the Moto 360 camera. And this mod, it's like every other mod. It snaps right on, and the phone instantly recognizes that it's being used. And so if you launch the camera app now, it will show you the Moto 360 camera, and you get a 360 view of our office.
Now, is that both stills and video?
It is both, yeah.
Okay.
Video, it'll shoot in 4K, and it has 2 mics, or maybe even 4 mics, for 360 audio. So it does both. With pictures, you can stitch together shots, and essentially, it's not really an action camera because it's hard to mount the. I mean, you had to mount your phone on something, so you don't really want to put it on a drone. But it can serve as just taking cool shots when you're out sightseeing, or basically just when you have your phone, you can use it.
Yeah. Now Jim Fisher, our camera expert, looked at this 360 camera, and he said though that the image quality was kind of right?
Right, yeah. I think his main issue was that when you're taking 4K video, it looks kind of like upscale 1080 in some cases. And also, he was comparing it to a lot of other action cameras you can buy. I think the Samsung 360 is...
The Gear 360.
The Gear 360 is about like half the price. And it takes,
now it is, yeah.
Yeah, and it takes about similar or better quality.
Yeah, let me call out the prices here. So this 360 mod is $300. The phone itself is $756 at Verizon. And now, since we're talking about cameras, there's 2 cameras on the back there. What do they do?
Okay, so take this off. This is really colorful also. So you have a standard RGB sensor that shoots in color. They're both 12 megapixels, and the second one is a monochrome sensor. So what you get is...
what does that get you?
So this is what it gets you. So this is a standard color shot, and this is a black and white shot, and this is true black and white because most phones are just applying filters. This is not applying filters. This is actually removing the color information from the picture. So this is genuine black and white. Will your friends on Instagram tell? Probably not, but you know at least that it's true black and white.
So what's it, actually, let me break for a sec. Do we have any questions out there?
Was this the phone that was also going to get a Gamepad mod?
Yes.
And is that out yet?
There is a Gamepad mod advertised on Verizon's website for $79.99. I tried it briefly during the Z2's announcement event. We have not been able to get one for review, but it's out there. Verizon is selling it, $79.99. It's a hardware gamepad that works with any game that accepts a Bluetooth gamepad, but it also has a battery in it and feels more responsive than a Bluetooth gamepad. So that's a thing.
Right. So Asphalt 8. If you like Asphalt 8 or any racing game, then...
Or fighting games.
Or fighting games.
Fighting games.
Yeah.
Yep. So, okay, so is there any advantage to combining the two cameras?
So, well, aside from the fact that you can shoot bokeh, so you can focus... Whoa.
Okay.
You can focus in on a foreground shot, and there you go. So you can focus in on a foreground shot, blur the image around it. It's similar to what the iPhone 7 Plus can do. It looks pretty good. It doesn't necessarily look as good as if you're using like a DSLR, but it looks pretty good. And so our main comparison is with the Galaxy S8. And you can see on some of the comparison shots that we took that they are awfully similar. And
They're
so
really similar.
The main difference you're going to notice is a little bit when it comes to the color. The S8 feels a little bit more true to life, a little bit more accurate. The color, if you look at the building, the color is a little bit different. So the main thing I noticed is that the S8 saturates greens more. The Z2. Yeah, the Z2 Force. You know, like the yellows are a little bit warmer.
And
but
the S8's faster, it says.
The S8 is faster.
It looks like we've got some more questions.
Is the JBL Boost version 2 better than version 1?
Okay, so let's go into some more of these mods. So another mod you can do is this big speaker, this JBL Boost speaker. And there was one last year, there's one this year. Did you compare the two versions at all, maybe when you were doing the Z2 Play?
I did use both. I like, well, firstly, the feel of this is a little bit nicer. It's kind of like a cloth back, and this is just harder plastic. But I think this is a bit louder, and I will just play it right now and see if I can do that.
Unless, oh no, you've got a Google login problem. Well, let me talk about some of these other, while he's logging in, let me talk about some of these other mods. So now, early Moto Z2 Force buyers are going to get this projector mod free. And this is an expensive piece of kit. This is typically, I believe, $279. What it does is your phone snaps into it, becomes a Pico projector. You can project whatever's on your phone's screen. This is one of those things that phone manufacturers have always thought is super cool, but people tend not to want. So presumably Motorola has a bunch of these in a warehouse somewhere that it couldn't get rid of at $279, so it decided to give them as a gift with purchase. We also have here this camera mod. This is a Hasselblad branded 10x zoom camera. And I was using this with the original Moto Z2 Force at trade shows earlier this year. I can tell you the plus is it takes really nice photos. The minus is it's painfully slow to operate.
Good to go on this.
Okay.
Every battle, everywhere.
Okay.
Always. In your mind.
Okay. Pause it. Yeah, it's a rich, nice surrounding sound. One thing that I was thinking and talking about earlier was that you put the Moto into the speaker mod.
Right.
You turn on your, I can't say the words because it'll respond, but OKG, and it's kind of a Google Home in that way. It looks like we have some more questions.
So the comparison photos you have are primarily versus the Galaxy 8, right? You didn't do it against like the previous Moto phone?
We don't have the previous Moto phone, but we do have the Z2 Play. So that's the mid-range phone. Undoubtedly, it's better. Part of it is the low light shots. If you look at some of the, like, these are all taken on cloudy days. It is compared to last year's phone, you're definitely getting a better picture. There's less noise. There's less. It doesn't blur as often. But that said, compared to the S8, it will. It's not as fast to snap, especially if you're like indoors or in any place where the lighting's a little strange.
Yeah, I mean, we generally compare phones to whatever the best phone is in their category, and right now with high-end phones, that's the S8. So we're comparing pretty much everything to the S8 to show in what ways, so far nothing else is quite matched up to the S8 in terms of quality. So now let's talk about the other specs in here with the Z2 Force, processor, memory, version of Android, that sort of stuff.
So this is going to match your standard flagships. This is a Snapdragon 835 processor. It has 4 gigs of RAM, and it has 64 gigs of internal storage.
Is there a memory card slot?
There is a memory card slot up top. Yeah.
Okay.
You can use it. You can format it as internal storage. It works great. There is one thing missing, and that is the headphone jack, same as last year.
Now, did it come with a dongle?
It did come with a dongle.
Okay.
So you do not have to buy your own dongle.
So no headphone jack. Fingerprint sensor is on the front.
Fingerprint
right
sensor
there.
on the front. You can use the same one-button navigation as you can on the G5 Plus. So you can swipe to go into like switching apps or multitasking. You can swipe down to shrink the screen. You can do split screen mode. So it has all the same features. It has Moto Voice. It has Moto Display. So it'll turn on if you and show you notifications if you face it and basically pick it up.
Now, there's one other key feature we haven't mentioned here, which kind of makes this phone unique.
Right.
And I wish we had a rock to dash it on to show you. Yeah, exactly. Did you try to test the breakability of the screen at all?
Yes, actually, you can see the result of my testing over here. There's, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there is a gouge right here.
Oh, you gouged it.
From when I dropped it on the deck upstairs. We have a wooden deck, and so I kind of dropped it, and it did result in some scratches. But the key feature here is that there's a plastic cover over the screen. So it's called Shatter Shield, and it'll prevent your screen from breaking.
Yeah, one of the things that strikes me about Shatter Shield, and this struck me last year as well, is that it is Shatter Shield but not Scratch Shield.
Right.
Like, it will not break or spiderweb the way a lot of Galaxy S8s do, but it will scratch pretty easily.
Right, it will scratch. If you have it with your keys, you can see some scratches right here. Maybe if I turn the screen off, it'll be easier to see. It's right here. There's like a gouge there. So it will scratch. If that bothers you, maybe just don't drop your phone.
Yeah.
But it will stop your screen from breaking, which is ultimately worse than scratches.
Yeah. Let's take some more questions.
Okay. We have a viewer asking if there are any issues with USB-C connectivity.
No, I don't know. Like, you mean data transfers or charging?
He said he had problems with connecting to Android Auto with the V1.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cars.
We're in New York. I don't drive.
We do not test our phones with cars. We don't have cars to test our phones with, frankly. So that is something that we haven't really tested anything with.
Right.
But we have tested, the USB-C with several computers around the office and haven't had any problem. That said, it is well known that Android Auto specifically is very, very funky, and that phone-to-car connectivity is a specific issue involving various phones and various models of cars, but we just can't speak to it specifically.
Right. Oh, and that reminds me, this has Bluetooth 4.2, but Motorola says there will be an update to Bluetooth 5.0 when Android O rolls out. So it'll support streaming to 2 different headphones.
It's funny that they're waiting for Android O for 5.0 because Samsung and some other manufacturers have managed to do 5.0 on 7.1. But
Right, yeah. I mean, at least you get it.
Yeah, and it is interesting that Motorola is saying, this is something they've been generally good with throughout the years. They are saying, yes, we are going to do Android O.
Right.
No question about it.
Right. So that's nice to have the confirmation at least.
So let's talk about the Z2 Force versus the Z2 Play. If somebody wants a mod-compatible phone, what are the pluses and minuses here?
Okay. So basically, when you're looking at these two phones, the Z2 Play is the mid-range phone. It's around $500 unlocked. It'll work on all carriers. And
Is it sold by any carriers right now?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you need to buy this unlocked. I haven't seen it on any carriers. But it has the same kind of build, the same kind of body. You don't get shatter shield. You don't get two sensors. So the cameras are not going to match up, but you do get a Snapdragon 627 processor, which is remarkably fast. And so I was using these phones side by side. And so, I mean, the Snapdragon 835 is obviously going to be better. It's going to be faster. It'll be able to run high-end games more smoothly. But this is surprisingly smooth, and part of it is just there's like no bloatware. There's no extra UI. There's nothing else added onto it. So when it comes down to it, it'll mainly be price. The price difference is around $200, $500 versus $700.
But also, if you are a headphone jack person.
If you are a headphone jack person who still uses wired headphones,
Headphone jack.
it's right there on the bottom.
Yep, yep.
So there's that. But it's a good way to get into Moto mods if you don't want to spend $700 and buy an extra $100 mod on top of it.
Yep. Looks like we've got some more questions.
How many other companies are experimenting with modular backs?
So that's interesting because Alcatel recently released the A50, and so you can get that on Amazon Prime for about $150. And right now they have something called the snapback, which is an LED back which will kind of you snap it on similar. It's not the same because it's not magnetic. You need to like remove the back cover and then put it on. But it'll connect and it will like let your phone light up, and you can use LEDs for notifications. You can use it just to have lights when you're playing music.
Now, when they demoed the A50 for us at Mobile World Congress as the A5, or maybe it was the U5. In any case, when they demoed that for us at Mobile World Congress, they showed 3 backs. They showed the LED back, a battery back, and a speaker back. Have they said anything about the other 2 coming?
Yeah, they're in theory they'll come eventually. They're not sold yet. Right now, the only one you can buy is the LED back bundled with the A50 on Amazon Prime.
Okay, okay. Yeah, the modular back thing comes and goes in the industry a lot because the problem is that you have to have a sufficient number of phones sold to kind of maintain an accessory market. LG said that they wanted to go modular with the LG G5, released 2 modules and quit, basically. There have been other modular concepts like Google's Project Ara, which they said that they were going to release and then gave up on. Like the repairable Fairphone, I believe, in Europe, which was out for a couple of years, which they recently gave up on. ZTE had a prototype modular phone, which they gave up on.
I think that was crowdfunded or kickstarted also? Was that the one you stick to a
No,
wall?
that wasn't the sticky one. They had a different one, which they were showing off a prototype of at trade shows, but never happened. So this modular phone concept comes up in the industry a lot, but really only Motorola has managed to actually stick with it.
Right. I mean, that's something I brought up in my review. If you're looking for a comprehensive set of modular backs that are actually useful, like, I mean, LEDs are nice, but it's not like a projector. It's not a speaker. So if you're looking for something that will actually get you functionality, Motorola is pretty much the only game in town.
That said, if you're a 12-year-old, if you're 12 years old, the $159 phone with the LEDs looks pretty cool to me. But this is more of a grown-up approach here. It looks like we've got some more questions.
One last one. Does it support aptX Bluetooth audio?
aptX.
aptX. It's on 4.2. I don't believe it does. I would need to check specifically. I don't know.
Yeah,
off the
we
top
need
of
to
my
check
head.
in the spec sheet. I suspect it does. But this is just something which you would be able to Google for. Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. Any other questions out there? Nope. So this is the Moto Z2 Force. It is around $650 at Verizon. How did you rate it?
I gave it 4 stars. It's a great phone to get if you want to get Moto mods and if you're keen on modular backs. Otherwise, the S8 is still a great phone, the best one we've tested.
Yeah, the Galaxy S8. The Galaxy, it's hard to knock the Galaxy S8 off of its pedestal, that's for sure. Thank you very much for watching, folks. We will be back tomorrow with one more cool thing. I will not be back because I'm going on vacation for a week, but I will see you in a week, and don't worry, PC Mag will be back at 10 a.m. tomorrow with one cool thing.